All right, it's now time to take a quick look at the stories on the front pages of our national dailies today. And we will be looking at 5 national newspapers. To do that with us is leadership and communication strategist Dotun Ojon. Good morning to you, Dotun.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
All right, we start off with the Punch newspaper, and the major story here is killings. Without state police, we risk more attacks, says Ekwere Madu. 6 more suspects arrested for Plateau massacre. The Deputy Senate President took the campaign for state police in restructuring, really, in essence, to the United States and promises to even introduce a bill very soon.
Yeah. If you create state police and we still have the same attitude, then we are going to be having familiar troubles and problems. For us to achieve or to get a fantastic result, we need to change our approach to issues, not necessarily creation of new unit of government. Basically, we have an issue in our hand. We have a problem as a nation. And what's the problem? We do not like to deal with infant troubles. We allow them to fester until they become very big. Now we want to tackle them with all our might and power. It doesn't work like that. Until we learn to tackle issues as they come up. That's how Boko Haram started.
So in essence, you're saying that even if they create state police today,
if
they don't solve this present problem,
it's not going to solve it. Because the challenge we have now is bigger than even our security intellect. That's the challenge we have. Now, let's number the number, a census, let's do a census of the number of police we have at the moment now. Can they police one state? They cannot. So even if you create, what's it called, state police with the same kind of attitude of politicians making direction as to where security this thing will go, then we're not going to have what we're supposed to have. Okay. So now my major challenge is that we need to change our attitude. Once we change our attitude, every other thing will fall in place.
All right, so let's move on to another story. Let's come down to the paper here. Ango Abdullahi meets Obasanjo over 2019 polls killings. That's the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum, and they believe that this meeting is to get or agree on a consensus candidate for the 2019 election and even talk about the insecurity generally across the country.
You know, before this Plateau crisis, I was seeing 2019 as if it's just tomorrow. But my teary eyes now have blurred 2019. So if anybody is talking about 2019 now, it doesn't make any meaning to me because people are dying. These are the same set of people that are going to vote. So what is the essence of holding an election if we cannot protect the people? Unfortunately, because we are traditional thinkers, I have not seen somebody, okay, perhaps I've seen 1 or 2, but I've not seen one person who has a clear chance of becoming a president, who has innovation. All these set of people that we are talking about are traditional people. And we cannot continue to face these innovative problems with traditional solutions. It's not going to work.
All right, quickly now, let's just run through the remaining stories. Vehicular defects, human errors caused tanker fire. That's according to the Lagos State government. Obasanjo remains my leader, says Bode George. Down here, Lagos schoolgirl, 14 years old, disappears after outing with boyfriend. 13 prison inmates matriculate. The French president, Zamid Buhari, visit African shrine. Emmanuel Macron is coming to the country tomorrow to meet with the president on security issues.
Yes, it is very compulsory at this point in time to keep talking security. It's a major challenge in the US, in the UK House of Lords. It was discussed. Was it on Friday? So it's a national disaster. Unfortunately, people within the country are not seeing it as an international disaster. One day, you will clear over 100 people, and we still come out the next day to shout hallelujah in church. We should close down church, close down mosque, and everybody should be mourning. We should stop talking politics and concentrate on how we are going to secure our lives.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Sun newspaper. It's all 2019, and PDP weighs options. And we understand they may resume talks with APC members as they move to take final decisions sometime this week or so. You know,
when politicians are talking, I'm one of those people that do not like to believe them, especially when they are politicking. Ask anybody. The reality is that if NPDP members leave APC today, APC will be in major crisis. They may come out to say, oh, they have no relevance, let them go. But any good political watcher and analysts will tell you that today, if NPDP leaves APC, then they are going to.
But then, don't you think it would be a mutual destructive strategy if NPDP maybe went to another party? Would that party even trust that group?
You see,
knowing what it did to the PDP.
Forget about when it comes to politicking and winning the next election, trust is not an issue. When they adopted NPDP members, did they trust them? No. But it was a marriage that wanted to dislodge Jonathan.
All that they had in mind was to win the election.
To win the election. So forget about trust, especially the kind of politics we play in Nigeria. So trust is not an issue. We are just looking for people who is going to come to us. And once we win the election, then after that, we're going to sort things out.
But beyond that, Ojon, what is at the very heart of this is personal interest and not the interest of the mass of the people.
You see, either in PDP or APC or some of this political party, the vision in leadership, there's what they call humility. Humility in leadership is not the Dobale kind of humility. It is ability to sacrifice your ambition for the collective vision of the society. And nobody, so we do not have humble politicians, or we have only a few of them because they cannot sacrifice their ambition for the vision of the society.
All right, fuel explosion, Lagos restricts tanker movements. Well, the challenge really is not about making the laws, but implementing them. When it comes
to good laws, Lagos is a citadel of good laws. Wonderful landlord, you must not collect more than 1 year rent, but the landlord very close to me will collect 3 years. This person, you must not ply this road. Okada, please don't take BRT. They are the one that will buy Okada for this jobless youth before election. And immediately after the election, they will ban the use. So what is the essence of law? It was when BRT hit down somebody, I think along Maryland, it was then the governor remembered that, oh, there was one, what do they call it, one restriction law that is restricting hawkers on the street. And I told them that this is logic. Once you take traffic out of Lagos, you will take hawkers out of the road. You don't need to make any law to restrict hawkers. Now on this one now, there are several things that they said, and one of them is that they will have roadworthiness. And I tell you, by today's Monday, let me make this prophecy. By next week Monday, you will see people selling this roadworthiness certificate to tankers driver without checking their vehicles. You will see.
All right, let's go to this day
newspaper. Let's believe that it's going to be effective, though many would tell you that it's even beyond the government, Lagos State government, to implement some of this traffic laws concerning articulated and tanker vehicles. All right, we go to the next paper, which is this day. Major story here, a sad one, really, again. Despite curfew, gunmen kill 6 in fresh Plateau attack with multiple riders. Military arrests 4 suspects. Relocates task force headquarters to troubled council. Senate resumes debates killings tomorrow. Naaba, Kuka, deploy FG, say Buhari working alone. Many prophesied that it was going to happen again in Plateau because, and coming on the backdrop of the report by Amnesty International saying that somehow the seeming inaction, because of course we know the federal government is active, but might not be effective, is fueling impunity, which is encouraging these perpetrators to continue killings unabated. You
see, when a president is going to be the height of stupidity for anyone to think that any president will be happy when the citizens are being killed.
Absolutely.
The president cannot be happy. But again, it's going to be a height of ignorance if you think that killings like this will be going on and we should not blame the president. The president is the man to be blamed because you cannot sit in Asoro camp and give a directive. And somebody, even as a manager,
defies that directive.
Even as a manager in a small office, I can't give a directive and somebody will flout it. Tomorrow you are in your house. At least that's what I can do. That's what I have the power to do. Then when it comes to security, they know that you will not only go home, you will come back to explain the budgetary allocations that you got. Because if you are not effective, that means that you didn't use the money that were actually allocated very well. Absolutely. So these people, it's because over time they know that maybe the president will give directive and they have the power to just flout it, and once it's Wednesday they go to brief the president and tell him what is different from reality.
And John, a few days ago, Saraki, during one of the meetings, said that look, President Buhari needs to act in terms of changing the leadership of the security apparatus?
When we change them now, if we change them today now, and there are another set of people coming, will they still not disobey the president? I'm not talking about people. I am talking about the president himself. Ability to give a directive and make everybody align with the directive.
All right, let's just quickly run through the remaining stories because of time, so you can go to the next one. NNPC finalizes $724 million oil finance deal with Schlumberger. Baraje MPDP to make final decisions on APC this week. Atiku positions as alternative to Buhari meets Babangida in Mina. All
right, the New Telegraph. The story is not too different from what you've just read out. And PDP mauls marks mass defection with quite a number of riders. Baraje, we shall make our stand known this week. We welcome Saraki, Dogara, Tambawal, and others. So, same story. Well, that's it now for a look at the front pages of the national dailies. You have another one?
Yes, the Vanguard quickly. Now, the last one. Killings. Niger Delta militants give FG 21-day ultimatum. Urge FG to arrest Miyetti Allah leaders. Disband group demand devolution of powers to governors for protection of citizens. Fresh attack in Plateau claims 6 lives, farmlands destroyed. Miyetti Allah wants Benue. Taraba governments against auction of seized cattle. So many issues here.
You see, perhaps the most worrisome of all this is the fact that if we continue like this, we can fight some of these little battles here and there. But my fear is that I don't want it to turn to a religious war. Because we are very religious people in Nigeria, and we always like to fight on the part of God. That I am actually fighting on the part of God. Whether you are a Muslim, you are fighting on the part of God, or as a Christian, I'm fighting on the part of God. And that is my fear. If you have read international media, the way they painted it, they said Muslim, what's it called, headsmen are actually destroying Christian farmlands. And it's turning gradually, if you look at the tone at which Christian leaders are now speaking, then you will be afraid. And
that was why many analysts came out to correct President Donald Trump, if you recall, when President Muhammadu Buhari paid him a visit and was saying that the killings of Christians wouldn't be condoned.
So that is my major fear now. And everybody has a name. I have a name. And I'm responsible for whatever action I take. The president has a name. A leader under which all these things are not contained also has a name. So it is not a product of whether it is PDP or APC. It's a product of all of us as a people. We must unite to end this. And who gives us direction? Who gives us directive? It is the government.
Okay, quickly now. Alleged underage voting. INEC to release full report of its investigation. Of course, you know how we got here with the underage voting in the north.
You see, the problem of underage voting may be popular in the north, but they are still going on in some part of even the southern part of the country. I was in one particular village I would not like to mention, and I saw them too, also registering. They were registering. So it's a national disaster, but because of population, you know, we have many people in the northern part of the country. That's why it became
and because it was leaked anyway.
Yes,
the reported one.
Yes. INEC representative also admitted in Kano that there were issues of underage, registration, and all of that, because they were afraid, of attacks, and so they had to allow.
Yes, and that is where that is the nursery ground for election rigging. That's the nursery ground, because once you allow them to, they are very easy. With 100 naira, you can actually buy some of these voters' cards and you use it.
Okay.
That's the nursery.
All right, Dotun, Ojon, as always, very interesting having you around.